Okay, I'm guessing this is probably you. Your first lap time, you set it to 18.0. The next lap, 219.1. That's 1.1 seconds off. The next lap, 217.9. That's your fastest lap and it's a really good lap. Next lap, 219.6. You're 1.6 seconds off the pace. And then 220.0. That's almost 2 seconds off the pace. These lap times are really inconsistent, and if this is you, then you have to watch this video. I promise you that by the end of this video, you'll easily be able to consistently lap within half a second of yourself 3 times in a row. Being consistent is much faster than just having raw pace. I'm going to go over 7 steps to teach you guys how to become consistent. The first step to actually getting consistent is having a consistent environment. This might not seem obvious and a lot of people sleep on this, but I promise you that this has a huge impact. For example, I sim race on a gaming chair, and every time I set up my sim, I have to make sure that it's in the same spot every time. Because if it's not in the same spot every time, braking and turning just feels different for me. I also have to make sure that I recline it at the exact same angle every time. If I'm a bit off, then my braking and steering also feels different. This has cost me over half a second in a single lap. Another thing that also affects your consistency in your environment is your body. So here's a story that I have. When I was really new to iRacing, one of the first combos that I was doing was the Toyota Cup car at Virginia. The first day, I don't remember the exact lap time, but I was doing like, let's say I was doing a 1 minute 30 flat. At the time, this was a really good lap time for me. The next day, I did a leg workout. I work out, by the way. And then right after that, I got on my sim and I was a whole second slower because my legs were recovering and they were not used to racing like that. I was a whole second slower. I was using the same setup, same braking points, same weather, same everything. Everything was the same. It was just that I was recovering and that's what made me slower. Alright, now on to step 2. So many people don't think of this, but honestly, it's just super important if you want to get consistent. You have to memorize the track layout in your mind. The biggest mistake people do is being reactive. But what is being reactive? Being reactive is just seeing a turn and reacting to it, letting the car throw you around. You don't know what's up next until you actually see the corner. You should not be doing this. It's making you super inconsistent. Instead, what you should do is memorize the track layout so you know what's up next. Ignore my typing. Let's take a look at turn 1 at Spa. We can just memorize this as a low speed right-hander hairpin going onto a long straight with a little bit of elevation change. That's all. We don't have to memorize like every little detail about it, just the big things. Simple as that. Now on to the next turn, or 2 turns we could say. We can just memorize it as leads up to a small left kink and a flat out right-hander going uphill. And that would be Rouge and Radion. Now just do this for every corner. I'm telling you, please do not sleep on this. Please. It might sound super stupid, but it is really useful. Step 3 is to find the correct braking references. Now there are 2 ways we can approach this. The first one, which I also recommend, is doing this. Take a look at every corner in your fastest lap. Then determine, did you brake at the right time? Did you brake too early, too late, or at the right time? Next, go into the cockpit view of your car in replay mode. From there, find a good braking reference. In turn 1 at Spa, I actually brake right here where the dirt ends. I don't know if you can see that. Here's a really good example. We see this 100-meter board here, and as soon as it goes off of my screen, I hit the brake pedal. The second approach is to look at a track guide. Now personally, I would not recommend this, but if you just simply cannot find time, if you simply cannot find time, I would really recommend this because there might be something that you never thought of doing, like a racing line you just never noticed or a braking reference you didn't think up of. I would start off doing this first method, but if it just doesn't work for you, then you should look at a track guide. Alright, so now you know where to brake, but you just can't brake properly. Let me explain. You don't have the proper muscle memory to brake. So for example, let's say we need to hit 80% brake pressure to take a corner optimally or as fast as possible or whatever. Your braking traces probably look something like this: 90%, 78%, 83, 81, 79. You just can't hit that 80%, and none of these were what we wanted. This is costing us tons of lap time and it's making us really inconsistent. Try this exercise to become more precise at braking. Slowly build up to the 80% pressure we need and slowly release it. Do this 15 times or until you can comfortably do it. Then do the exact same thing but a bit faster and do that 15 times. Then do it a bit faster and do it 15 times. And then do it even faster and do it 15 times. Then do it faster and do it 15 times. And then you get my point. Faster 15 times. What you need to do here is just hit the 80% brake pressure that we need consistently. You can do this however many times you want, but personally I would do it 15 times. You just need to be comfortable doing this really fast. Now on to step 5. Step 5 mostly builds off of step 4, but it is really important in order to get consistent. Now what you're going to do is this. Find any straight line. It could be on the track you're practicing or it could be anywhere else. Personally, I do a lot of this on the Chemo Straight at Spa. You can also do this at the centripetal circuit, but you just need somewhere flat where you can go fast and hit the brakes. Make sure that you have similar weather conditions to the actual race and that there are no elevation changes. If it's possible, turn off ABS. It will give you a much better understanding of the car and how it brakes. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to reach the max RPM of every gear that the car has. So we go to the max RPM of gear 1, gear 2, gear 4. No, what happened? I didn't say gear 3. Gear 1, gear 2, gear 3, gear 4, gear 5, gear 6, or however many gears your car has. And just go to that RPM and then brake to 0 miles per hour. You need to come to a complete full stop and basically learn how the car brakes. Learn when you hit ABS, how fast it brakes, how the engine braking works. This concept is very helpful and it applies everywhere. So if you're learning Spa for example, in the Porsche Cup, this could also apply at Silverstone with the Porsche Cup. It's a car specific thing. This applies at every single track. Step 6 kind of builds up on step 5, but it's a bit different. We can only do this one at the centripetal circuit. But first, this is what we need to do. We need to turn down the volume for everything in iRacing except tires and main volume. Just make everything lower and keep tires as high as you can. What this will do is that you'll be able to hear the tires when they're screaming. This will let you know if you're over or under the limit of the tires. Now go back to centripetal circuit, reach max RPM of every gear, and turn as much as you can. Until the tires start screaming. What you have to do here is pretty much find the lateral grip of the car, how much you can turn it without being over the limit. After you do this, what you're going to do is practice trail braking in every gear until you get to a full stop. But this one is different because you're also going to turn while trail braking. So for example, we could go like this. So we're here, and then we start braking here, but we're also going to turn while braking as much as we can, like this. You have to imagine that you're taking a normal corner, like it was a normal right-hander, left-hander, whatever. This will also help you learn a lot about the car's characteristics. Please do not skip this. Okay, now on to step 7. This is the final step, and this is also the hardest. Here, we're actually going to practice on track. But first, we have to set up active reset save start point. It's an iRacing exclusive feature, and it's really helpful for learning new tracks. It lets you set up 2 checkpoints anywhere on track, and then you can teleport from the first checkpoint to the second checkpoint. Then you can measure your time between the first and second checkpoint. So let's say we set up a checkpoint here and over here, turn 1 at Spa. Then we just take a pretty standard racing line, not perfect, but we just go like this. Then we can measure the amount of time we took from here to here. So I'm guessing it'll probably be like 2.5 seconds or something. Now here's how we can use it to our advantage. Go to every corner at whatever track you're practicing. Set up the first checkpoint a few seconds before the braking zone, and then teleport to the first checkpoint after the corner, and then measure the lap time from the first checkpoint to the second checkpoint. And now you're going to lap within 1/10 of yourself 5 times in a row. So if you're doing a single corner, for example, it could look like this: 2.5, 2.45, 2.5, 2.49, 2.45. Basically, you just have to do a single corner super consistently 5 times in a row. And just repeat this for every single corner on the track. And this is the final challenge. You're going to do 3 laps in a row, okay? Not that hard. But you cannot mess up. 0 mistakes. No locking up, no spinning, none of that. And you're going to lap within 1/10 of yourself every single lap. So you could do a 141.0, 141.1, 141.01. You get my point. Just lap 3 laps in a row, no messing up, within 1/10 of a second within yourself. If you can do this, then you are a really consistent driver. Before I wrap this video up, I need your help with something. I need you to send your best hot laps to me. I'm gonna start doing paid hot lap analysis online, and before I start, I need your help. This is only for sports cars and formula cars. So if you're between 0 and 3K iRating, you can send me a hot lap of any track with a GT3, F4, Mazda GT4, or Porsche Cup car, and I'll analyze the replay in a video. Send the replay file and a video of the actual hot lap with telemetry on screen. I'll analyze your laps and I'll make a video about it.